stuff that happened before I moved into the home. As Mr. Madan noted, the house is from 1936. It's an angular house. It sits on a diagonal on a corner lot. Can't imagine why they would do that. And today, obviously, we're trying to get the most use of space, particularly on the Venetian. So I was working already with, kind of challenging circumstances. I just want to note that, everything that we've done in this home is to benefit, the living space, make it more comfortable, and help the neighborhood and just kind of align with what's happening on the Venetian. The variances, obviously, to note, everything is sitting on the property line. There was never any extension over the property line. We're dealing with basically these setbacks, and nothing that's happened to the home puts anyone in my neighborhood at risk. As a matter of fact, I have 16-foot hedges. No one can even see it. I've put together a team of people, including architects, electricians, plumbers, everything that they could do to document the existing architectural structure. Everything that was submitted into the original after the fact permits proves that everything was made to the code of the city codes, including the sewage, the type of concrete, everything that was used was the latest technology. These are some of the pictures. What happened was I was renovating the deck, and I think in that time we had people, basically what happens is when you have Ipe, you have to sand it and come in and paint it. And during that time, the code officials are continuously navigating themselves through the islands. I think noticed this. We spoke and said, look, they want to bring it to become legal, and that's kind of what put us on this path today. As you can see, the aesthetic, the structure itself has been deemed safe according to the initial permits that were submitted. Everything was approved except for the fact that some of the areas sat over the setback line, which is what the area between the property and where I can build the structures. The walkway that was mentioned is a pathway that leads to the back deck. And as you can see, there's concrete slabs. There were existing concrete slabs. What I did was just extended them to make the walkway a little bit safer and obviously a bit more aesthetically pleasing. The driveway itself, there was absolutely no extension. This was an existing driveway. All we did was resurface it to bring modern concrete just to have a better aesthetic appeal and have a safer walkway, because the cobblestone, if you ask my girlfriend, was very dangerous. I'm asking for your permission for these approvals, considering the challenges I had with the lot. I think everything that I said I've done is in code with just the city's architectural planning and security. There is no harm. As I mentioned, all of the other bits were already approved. The last thing that I need to bring these after the fact permits to approval are the variance approvals for these setbacks. As mentioned earlier, the drainage and storm management is all up to code. And again, I just want to thank you all for your time, and I really apologize. It's been a long path for me to get here. I've been very much looking forward to speaking with you all and hopefully putting this to bed and going back to our life. My girlfriend and I are very happy in this home, and we envision a future with our family there, and it's just been a blessing to come to Miami, and just watching the city flourish over the few years has been one of the greatest joys of my life, so thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and open up to public comment. Do we have anybody on Zoom or here in the chamber?
Can I be added as a presenter to Zoom? I'm not able to see the list. Or as a panelist.
If I just want to say, I want to thank Mr. Madan too. Also, he's walked me through so many challenges in this process. There has been, mind you, this has been, I believe, 19 months since we started this. And just saying, it's been a pleasure working with him, and he's guided me and helped me do this on my own through planners and architects. And I will say, just lastly, it's not the easiest path working with some of the people that helped me here. A lot of people are after their own gain in Miami, and I just want to say thank you so much for all the guidance.
You're welcome.
We have anyone?
I see no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, no one here in the chambers, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment, open it up to questions from the board members through the chair. Mr. Nagler?
I just want to point out, it looks like there's multiple letters of support from the immediate abutters.
Any other Questions, comments from the board? Mr. Silvers?
I have a question. Could you clarify if there's any conditions, the conditions for approval and support from the planning department?
The conditions of approval are the typical conditions that we include in a board order. They basically state that any substantial modifications to what you're approving today would require the applicant to come back to the board. So basically, it ensures that they are not going to be increasing these non-conforming conditions. So in the future, any additions that they do will have to be in conformance with the code, and they're put on notice that they can get additional violations if they.
Is there any condition concerning the pergola being so close to the back, to the property line, that a hedge be taller than the pergola, so it's completely blocked visually?
There is a hedge there, but we can certainly include a condition to ensure that that hedge remains in perpetuity.
Right. I think that would be a condition that I would like to add,
Is the applicant okay with that, Anton? Are you okay with that requirement?
Yeah, absolutely.
that the hedge would be taller than the height, the top of the pergola.
So I have been growing these hedges for 4 years, and they have about 6 feet left to grow. When I started, they were 6 feet. Now they're 12, and we're getting them to 16. So that we're about 2 feet off. So in about 1 year, we'll be at that point where they'll be higher.
What kind of hedges? Is it a
Oh,
ficus hedge, or is it a,
they're the really firm
Podocarpus
ones
hedge?
that manicure very well. As a matter of fact, I have a picture here I can show you. So you can see behind the pergola. Also, if you look at the third picture to the right, you can see they're very bushy and not see-through. As a matter of fact, I also have a letter of support from my neighbors who have been in that home for 40 years. They're in full approval of this as well.
okay. Well, I would like to make that a condition, if that's all.
Do you want to define that again? You want to say it again exactly, so?
I want the condition is that the hedge adjacent to the pergola is at least 1 foot higher than the height of the pergola.
But how can we have that condition now when that's not the case now? I mean, that's it, that's where it's gonna end up, but
Right,
Why would you want, why would you
Currently,
want it
that's not the
higher?
case.
Why would you want it higher?
because the house next door can still see, it's going to grow. So I would like it at least 1 foot higher.
Okay, we have some other questions from the board before we, Mr. Grenick? Did you want? Mr. Nagler?
Well, yeah, I think to that point, I mean, if we made that a condition and he's still 2 feet short, he'd be in immediate violation of the condition, so I think that's an impossible, you can't do that. I mean, or we have to give him time for it to grow in, I mean.
Well, I'll chime in too. My feeling is, I really don't think it should be a condition. He has the hedge there. He obviously is going to want to keep a hedge there because he wants to have the privacy himself too, not just from his neighbors. So I don't see why they would take down the hedge. And I agree, you're putting a condition on it now that he's not meeting it. And again, I personally don't see why he would ever take that hedge down. He wants his privacy too, let alone from his neighbor. So I would not be supportive of
I mean, in defense of
the
the
rest of the board
argument, I will
agrees.
grow these hedges. I mean, the intention was also just to be very clear to have them higher and just as much privacy around.
Just to add, because I was going to wait, I always wait to make the last comment. I've been on this board 6 years. They're almost getting rid of me. Next month's my last meeting, and I'm termed out. And I have never seen someone your honesty, your candor, you, the owner yourself, presenting. In the 6 years I've been on this board, I have not seen anyone make a presentation with the honesty and apologizing. I mean, you didn't need to apologize, but you did. And to me, that tells me a lot about a person and someone that's invested in the city of Miami Beach. So I personally want to thank you for, your honesty. And you can tell you were speaking from the heart. So
Thank you.
I'm comfortable that that hedge will stay up and you'll let it continue to grow.
Thank you.
That's my take on it, guys. So I would be against the amendment. I'm going to recommend to approve as is.
Thank you so much.
I can't do the motion though.
Unless you hand over the gavel.
Or,
But
yeah.
motion to approve as is?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And thank you so much again for coming in, your presentation. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we have one more previously continued application, ZBA 25-0191, 1691 Michigan Avenue. Alejandro?
Yes, this application has been filed requesting a modification to a previously approved application for a variance to permit an alcoholic beverage establishment that is closer than 300 feet from an educational facility and closer than 300 feet from a place of worship. Specifically, the applicant is requesting to modify the maximum allowable occupant content and seat count.
Okay, so this application is for an office building, it's an office building that is on city-owned land. They have a long-term lease from the city for the land. The office building is going to be renovated. That was approved by the DRB last year. And then also last year, the Board of Adjustment approved a variance to permit an alcoholic beverage establishment that is closer than 300 feet from an educational facility and place of worship. There are some educational facilities and places of worship on 17th Street. For an alcoholic beverage establishment that will be located inside of the building. It will be totally contained inside of the building. It will not be visible from the exterior. So that was approved on October 11th, 2024, with an occupant content of 137 persons and a seat count of 97 seats. That was one of the conditions in the order that was approved at that time. The applicant is now proposing to modify the floor plan of the alcoholic beverage establishment. They're referring to it as a speakeasy inside of the office building. The first change that they're proposing is the previous floor plan had a bathroom within the establishment. The office building has a bathroom that's right across the hall, so they're proposing to remove that bathroom and guests will just be able to use, or patrons will be able to use the bathroom that's just across the hall. And so that increases the footprint of one of the areas of this alcoholic beverage establishment. However, there was an area that was included in the alcoholic beverage establishment that was sort of a VIP area that the applicant wishes to remove from the alcoholic beverage establishment and turn that into an employee lounge. So that actually results in an overall reduction in the occupancy content and the seat count for this establishment. So that results in a maximum occupancy of 80 persons and 69 seats. So it actually lessens any potential impact, but because they are revising the floor plan in such a way, they are required to come back to the board to request a modification of that previous approval. So given that they're reducing the occupant content, reducing the potential impacts of this establishment, they remain below the neighborhood impact establishment thresholds in the land development regulations. Staff is supportive of the proposed modification.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any disclosures on the dais? No. Okay, Mr. Rodriguez? Are you
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Go ahead and present 10 minutes to start. Good. If you need more, let me know.
No, 10 minutes is fine. Thank you so much. Good morning. Nicholas Rodriguez, 200 South Biscayne Boulevard, here on behalf of the master tenant of the property, RK Rivani LLC. Just as a housekeeping matter, I was passing out this handout with support letters. I realized that the printer kind of didn't print the collated copies correctly, so the letters of support are uploaded to the agenda, but I apologize, I don't have copies for everyone because the printer, it's a mess, so I'd rather not give these out, but these are letters of support from our neighbors that we did coordinate, so I apologize for that. So just getting back to the merits of the matter, if we could call up the presentation. So as Rogelio mentioned, this is a modification to a previously approved variance, and what we're doing today is actually reducing the seat count and occupancy. To just remind you of the context here, we are right next to the Jeffersonian condominium to our east. Catty corner to the northeast is the Lincoln Marti Day School, and then catty corner to the northwest is the Cuban Hebrew Congregation of Miami. So we're kind of sandwiched between these two of these uses that require us to get a variance. The neighboring condominium doesn't require us to get a variance, but of course, they're our neighbor, they're residential neighbors, so we've been in constant communication with them since this project started, and they did issue a letter of support, the condominium association. From a zoning perspective, this property is really kind of a northerly extension of Lincoln Road. You can see the red CD3 district is the most intense commercial district in the city, and it kind of pushes north north where the Macy's is at Meridian, and then where this building was developed in the early 2000s. It borders along the Palmview neighborhood, but where we are is squarely within the Lincoln Road CD3 zoning district. This existing building, as I mentioned, was built in 2002. It was a public-private partnership between the city and a developer, and our client has acquired this building and is in the process of making substantial improvements. We have a design review board order that's currently being built out and permitted, where the building facade is getting upgraded and improved. And this was really the owner's vision, or the master tenant's vision, for a class of office that exceeds Class A office, and he calls it Class X office. And it's not just aesthetic improvements to the building, it's programming the building with amenities that high-end office tenants would enjoy having. And so this speakeasy is really part of programming the building with unique and high-end amenities for office tenants and to attract really high-end office tenants. One really important part of this renovation is a valet area. Class A and Class X offices will tend to have valets, but what's important for the neighbors in this case is that we're building a solid wall between the Jeffersonian condominium and our valet area. So that's going to buffer them from any noise impacts that could occur from having a valet area with a speakeasy that's open late inside the building. So they were supportive of that, and it's actually a big aesthetic improvement to the building as well. It benefits us to have a valet, it benefits our neighbors, so it's kind of a win-win. And you see here, this is a closer up of the valet. On the left side of that image, you see what will be hopefully a water feature. It's pretty complicated to get permitted, but we're trying to make a very nice and aesthetically pleasing valet and enclosure wall there. So this was the previously approved variance. We're not changing the distances between the building and the day school and the Cuban Hebrew congregation. But what we are asking is just to modify the approved floor plan. So I'll show you here is the previously approved floor plan. And what you'll see here is what Rogelio was mentioning as a kind of VIP area. Really what this doubles as is the employee lounge during the day. And what it was envisioned was that the employee lounge would be kind of an overflow for the speakeasy. To full disclosure, what happened is the mobility impact fee for a bar is quite expensive in the city, and it's based on the square footage. And this area of the employee lounge is just not necessary to include in the speakeasy. It's not a revenue generating area. It was just meant to be an overflow. And so ownership made a decision to kind of modify the floor plan and reduce their amount of the mobility impact fee that they would have to pay for an area that's really not going to generate more seats, more tables for them. It was just kind of, it was next to the space, so it would have been nice to have an overflow, but it's not necessary to have. I'll also point out that up here, there was some bathrooms and some storage space, and you'll see in the proposed floor plan, they kind of just made more efficient use of where the speakeasy is going to be. They put some more seating here to fill it in, and we removed the employee lounge and everything that's not really associated with the actual alcohol service and alcohol beverage establishment. That's removed from the scope of the variance. So there will be no alcoholic beverage service offered or served inside the employee lounge or any of these rooms that are adjacent on the third floor. They're just, typical parts of the office building, not where the speakeasy is operating. As you can see, there's 69 seats and an 80-person occupant load for that new area. And the neighbor support letters that I was going to pass out to you, they're also in our presentation. They're also uploaded to the agenda. We had previously reached out to Mr. Perez from the Lincoln Marti Day School. We reached out to him again. He said, I continue to not have any objections or any issues with what you guys are doing. And Black Lion actually has a really positive relationship with them, where the kids from the daycare have actually visited the office building at different times of year for different events. So it's been a positive relationship. And here we have a support letter from the Jeffersonian Condominium Association. Similarly, we've been working with them throughout the project for construction logistics and everything that has to go along with this major overhaul of this building. And then we were finally able to get in touch with the Cuban Hebrew congregation of Miami. And the last time we were here, we had trouble getting in touch with them. We made a greater effort this time, and we were able to get in touch with them. And they got back to us with a letter of support. I'll say it wasn't super easy. They weren't the most responsive. But finally, when we got in touch with them, they were happy to sign a letter of support. So with that, and I just wanted to show you some of the renderings of the space. The space will be operated by H. Wood Group. So they are the proprietors of Delilah in the city of Miami and Mr. Nice Guy, some very popular restaurants. And so they're bringing their elevated character to this space within the Speakeasy Lounge within this building. And you can see that from the proposed renderings. So with that, we respectfully request your approval of the modification. We're here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and open up the public comment. Is there anybody on Zoom or here in the chambers, Mr. Madden?
There are no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comment and open up to questions from the board. Can always count on you, Mr. Nagler.
First of all, thanks for reaching out to your neighbors. Sorry to put you through that.
No.
We need to. I'm just curious, is basically the distinction here, is what's changing is there's no service to these areas, but basically, practically speaking, everything else is identical, and it's sort of just a change, like calling it something different.
The use is identical, but what I would call the northern portion of the speakeasy, the southern portion of the speakeasy, is expanding because they're removing the bathroom in that storage area. So that part is expanding, but at the same time, they're reducing they're getting rid of the northern portion of the speakeasy. So overall, the occupant content and seat count goes down. Last month, before they decided to remove the employee lounge area, the modification that would have been before you would have been to increase the seat count and occupancy. When they decided to remove that southern portion, that's when they requested the continuance, and so that's what's before you today, and the overall impact is going down.
Right, I'm just saying, like, those seats are still there, they're just not for the purpose of the speakeasy.
Oh, correct, yes,
I got
yes, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, if there's any alcohol sold, a violation could be issued, and they can lose the variance.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we have a condition in the draft order as, that speaks to that.
Quite other questions from board members? I just make a comment. Kudos on getting the Jeffersonian letter. I think Mr. Larkin might remember this. I had a bank branch there when it was a Colonial Bank, and I actually got that drive-through approved, and we had to work with them. It's a long time ago. I'm going back 25 years ago. Not easy. We put that drive-through in there, which kind of created that, but with you closing it up the way you're doing it now, and you got it done, because you didn't have, correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't have that when you came to us for the last variance. You didn't have the letter of support
It
from them
hadn't
yet,
been,
right?
no, we didn't, and
It was
hadn't
in
been approved
process.
yet. We were
Yeah,
all in
believe me, I
process,
went through
yeah.
it. I went through it with our attorneys. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was you, Michael, at the time, or someone else, but very difficult, and thank you for following up with the Cuban Hebrew congregation too, because, you really didn't have to do that because we approved it without that on the last one. So I really appreciate your efforts in just solidifying that everybody's good. Obviously, I know the building well because I had one of my bank branches there. Great building, great location. It looks like it's a great venue that your owner is going to be operating there. So thank you for all your efforts. Thank you. Any other questions on the dais, comments? If not, I'll open it up to any motions. Motion by Ms. Morelli to approve as presented. Second?
I'll second.
I'll give the second to Mr. Silvers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Have a great
Thank
day.
Thank you. Okay, we have one new application. ZBA 25-0172, 6801 Indian Creek Drive. Alejandro?
This application has been filed requesting an after-the-fact variance from the minimum required interior side yard setback for the installation of lighting poles for the surface parking lot of an existing apartment building.
So this is an after-the-fact variance for light poles that were installed for the surface parking lot for the Boston, I want to say Boston Plaza condominium, which is located at 6801 Indian Creek Drive. The applicant is currently working on their 30-year recertification process. As part of that process, they were required to install lighting in their parking lot consistent with the lighting standards of the building code. The lights were put in without an individual building permit for those lights. The applicant was under the impression they were required to do it, so they just did it without obtaining a formal building permit. They then were issued violations, and they're submitted for an after-the-fact permit when it was discovered that the lights were installed right at the edge of the property line, which is in violation of the required setbacks in the code. The code requires that there be a setback of 7 feet 6 inches, and these are essentially right on the property line. They're aimed so that they only light the parking lot. They're not aiming towards the adjacent property, and they comply with the lighting requirements of the building code. So the applicant does have a hardship in that the parking lot, they would have to lose parking spaces in order to put the lighting in a location where it would be in compliance with a setback. So there is a hardship there in requiring the applicant to move those lights because they would lose required parking. Just additionally, as a separate matter, the building indicated that they have some financial distress, and the city commission approved an ordinance and a resolution waiving their variance fees to allow them to proceed with this process without those issues. Given that they have no other place where these lights can go, they are a requirement of the Florida Building Code. Staff is supportive of the granting of the variance.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any disclosures on the dais? Excuse me. Thank you. With that, please state your name. I'm sorry, you,
Sure, my name is Eileen Lewis. Eileen Lewis.
okay, and are you the attorney? that perm-
No, I'm not the attorney. I'm representing the association.
Okay, so set the time for 10 minutes. Is that enough for you to,
No,
for your
more than
presentation?
enough.
Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
So, Madame pretty much, said everything. The main issue here, like he said, was the 30-year certification versus permitting. The lot is very awkward. It's not square, it's not any shape there. I don't know if you guys have the packet that I submitted in. There has the complete survey of the property, and there's no way possible for these lights to be put anywhere without eliminating a whole line of parking. They did all types of research of different heights, different lights, different everything, and the only position and height that they were able to accommodate no spillage, which is obviously very important to the electrical, building code, to the adjacent properties was to, so I have, okay. Here, what's in green, I don't know if you can see the colors, but what's in green is the property line. What is in yellow is what is supposed to be the setbacks, which is 7.5. And then the post, there's only 3 posts and their posts are there. So that's basically, it's very simple. It's complying with one and not complying with the other. Both are needed to be able to have the proper lighting in the parking lot. Right here, there's a whole list of the different measurements and what the percentage of the spillage, the percentage of the dark areas. Let's see. This is the information from the engineer of all his research. And that's pretty much it. It's basic. It's one thing or the other, but they're not coordinating to be able to comply.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead and open up to public comment. Nobody?
I see no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, we're going to go close public comment, open up to questions from the board.
So how did this arise?
They were undergoing the process for the 30-year recertification, so that requires them to make all sorts of upgrades to the building. As part of that, one of the upgrades in the engineer's report that is done as part of the 30-year certification process was that they needed to install lighting in the parking lot. And so they went ahead and did that without getting an individual permit for that lighting. And so I suppose they thought that the 30-year certification report was sufficient to go ahead and do the work, but it's not. You need an individual permit for that lighting to be able to proceed. When the lighting was installed, they were issued a violation because it was work done without a permit. So then they submitted an after-the-fact permit when it was discovered that the lighting was not in compliance with the required setbacks.
So it was just a random check by the city that they came across, that this was done without a permit?
Yes, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love the fact that, I feel like they got all the experts involved and someone knew that, probably should have known that there should have been a permit, but, at the end of the day, if they would have come here originally, I think, the result would be the same, but, it is what it is at this point.
Other comments, questions? I have one quick question. So these were additional lights in addition to the ones that were already there. Obviously, there was already lights
This
there.
area didn't have lights.
Oh, so there's no lights in
And
this?
that's why it was
in this
required
area
by
at all? Okay.
30-year to put light there because it was a black area.
Okay, right. That could be a safety hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. No other comments or questions? I'll entertain any motions from the board.
Move to approve the.
Motion by Mr. Davis to approve, that's presented.
I'll second.
Mr. Nagler, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, congratulations. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. Okay, so that brings us to our next meeting date, my last meeting, for the record. Have I said that a couple times during this meeting, by the way? Where's the after party? Where's the after party? Where are we going for the after party after the 12th? Roasters and Toasters, anyway.
You can stay for an additional 60 days if no one is appointed to replace you, so
Okay.
hopefully
All right, so if no one's
this is the first
appointed-
time where I'm hoping the city commission
You
is
may have to
appointed.
see me again in January, however, correct me if I'm wrong, at that point, we still have to appoint a new chair and vice chair. So
Correct.
you might have to deal with me for another meeting or two,
You're
but
not getting another cake.
not as a chair.
Celebration.
You guys are so good to me. How are we looking for December 12th, Mr. Madden, as far as agenda items?
There are no new applications. The only application we have is the one that was continued last month to the December meeting for the paddle courts.
Ooh, okay,
So it could, even though there's only one item, it could be a long one.
okay. Well, hopefully they
I
don't.
thought they were gonna be out of town.
No, they're all gonna be
They were gonna be out of
passed.
town today.
The residents were out of town.
Yeah, so that's gonna happen. There's no chance of that. So we may have that one item, but yeah, that's gonna be, okay. But they were still working on trying to work it out. and
Correct.
That may happen before the 12th, right?
Correct. I hope
And
so.
we'll let you know. So, okay, great. With that, any good and welfare, anything else? Thank you so much, board. Always appreciate your participation, and a motion to close the meeting.
So
Motion.
moved.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.